Let's go! Steven Retention here with another video, another driving, cruising video on this this cloudy, cold Melbourne morning. Good morning, everyone. Well, actually, one of my favorite YouTubers, he always says grand rising, and I really like that. Like, instead of saying good morning, morning sounds like we're mourning something, you know? Whereas grand rising is like we're rising up to the occasion of today, the day. What a beautiful day. And so, look, I'm just going to speak my mind on this episode. I'm going to talk about just recent kind of thoughts and perspectives that I've been pushing into my life. Okay, yesterday I talked about how, you know, we've got to put all of ourselves into what we do. Pushing ourselves into our music, pushing ourselves into our sport, pushing ourselves into our relationships, into our jobs, like really pushing the full extent of your being into what it is you do. I really think that's a great way to go about life. It's a great way of, you know, really quickly getting to a place of self-realization without the need and the waste of time and energy that takes place when you are not being yourself and you're catering to other people's, I guess, expectations or other people's beliefs, etc. So, you know, I'm just on my way to go work on some music today. I've just had this real positive drive. And I'm on a positive drive right now. We're on the positive drive. That's it. Semen retention, stay on the positive drive. Or semen retention, you're on a positive drive. That's it. Yeah. That's the title of the video. So, you know, we got to keep positive. And the reason why is, if you think about it, like, I am in the middle of recording an album. I've done the main part, which is get the other musicians to, you know, finish their parts. That's the difficult part. That's the, you know, that's the pulling people into a room and getting them to kind of do their parts. Okay, so I've had the journey of getting people to kind of like, you know, come and do their parts and move on like that, all right? Now, the other thing is that I've got this whole other backlog of music that won't be on this album that is still waiting to come out, okay? So I said in a previous video how I really need to start taking control of my music, you know, be like a figure like Prince, someone that just like plays all the instruments and just puts it all out there, because I'm very prolific with my writing. So what I need to do is I'm continuing to develop my skills as a drummer every single day. I'm literally going to go play some drums right now. Like, I'm not here to waste time, you know. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm going straight to play some drums. Like, I've got a gig later tonight at 5 p.m. It's a Wednesday. I've got a gig on a Wednesday, which is good. I like it. I like being busy during the week. But what I'm trying to get to is that I got to stay fit. I got to stay disciplined. I got to stay on the straight line, narrow path towards where it is I'm going. So why I'm going to like do these kind of things is mainly because I'm keeping this like positive outlook on my life. Okay, I could be sitting back at home and be like, oh, I've got to wait and earn some money in order me to do this thing. In order for me to finish this album that's in progress, I got to wait and sit back and until it's finished. It's like, no, that's not how it works. If I've got to wait to earn some money, then I go out and earn money when I can. But for the times that I can't be earning money, I'm going out there and I am upskilling. I'm getting better at what I do. I'm like writing. I'm doing everything that I have to do that doesn't involve earning money and that doesn't involve working on that specific album that I've been talking about. Okay, so right now I've got like 2 songs that I started writing drums for, and it's sounding cool. Like, I'm telling you, like, it's sounding cool, and I'm videotaping myself like on my phone, filming myself, videotaping, whatever. So like, basically I'm assessing myself, I'm listening to myself, and I'm kind of going with the perspective like, would I want to share this on Instagram? And then if I'm like, nah, it's a little bit sloppy, I'm like, nah, I won't do it. So what that does is it means that I am assessing myself whilst I'm in the process of making it. Because the thing is that as far as like pushing yourself into your purpose in whatever it is you do, unfortunately, when you are on this semen retention journey, you do lose a lot of that kind of support network or whatever. They were all fake anyway, so it doesn't matter. But like, you do lose that sense of support. So you have to become self-reliant a lot of the time, if not all the time. And essentially what's going to happen is you have this kind of like self-reliant like procedure. So for me, that's filming myself and assessing myself. I look at myself visually and I'm like, does it look like I'm putting in the energy that I need to put in? And then I'm like assessing myself like sonically, and I'm like, does it sound like I'm putting in the energy that I would like to be put in? So, this kind of assessment helps me move forward and come back the next day and just work on 1 little percent to make things better, just to keep that positive vibration going up. We're moving in a small percentage. It's funny, like the other week, one of these companies that I invested shares in, they had a massive spike of 27%. And this is in a cryptocurrency. This is like a legitimate company that goes out there and manufactures bricks and stuff like that. So they actually have like assets and stuff like that are valuable. And out of the blue, they just announced that they were acquiring another business, and then their value of their share price jumped up by 27%. Now, I'm going to relate this back to semen retention. Like, on semen retention, when you're already holding your value, some days your value is going to go up, some days your value is going to go down, just like a share price, okay? It's always little percentages though. It's always like these little 0.5% today, or tomorrow's it's gone down -2%. And then tomorrow it goes up 0.03%, and then the day after that it's going to go up, 1%. It doesn't move drastically. And that's something you got to understand about semen retention as well, is that things don't move crazily, okay? Things don't just spike up. Like, the only time you experience a spike on semen retention is in your first couple of weeks. And this is legitimately scientifically proven in regards to testosterone levels spiking. Now, with that being said, I think there are certain parts of your spiritual evolution, like almost like a third puberty, or a second puberty, I guess you could say, or a third. It doesn't matter. Like, there's different times that you kind of have these growth spurts in your life. Okay, so if you think about when you're probably 12 years old, things start changing. But then when you're 17, 18-year-old, more things start changing. So it's like, by the time that you have this semen retention kind of spiritual cultivation, you have like a third puberty, is what I call it. And this third stage of puberty is when you start to mature on a spiritual level. And that is when you experience some big spikes, some big positive gains in your overall kind of spirituality. So to attribute this to your direction in life. Like for me, it's to do with music, so I'm going to keep using music as an example. So what I find is that if I was like a some sort of like if I was like some sort of company or whatever that was like, you know, getting invested in, if people found out that I was making an album and then there was a little spike, they're like, okay, that's expected. But then if they found out that I still need to afford making the album, there's like a little dip, okay? But then if they found out that I was making another album whilst making an album because I was waiting on the money, then there would be a massive spike because, you know, let's just say hypothetically I had 1 million fans. They would be like, wow, we're going to get 2 albums in the same time as 1 album, usually. So basically what's happening is I'm adding more positivity, more value, more frequency, higher output, higher voltage, higher electricity, higher vibration into this universe, despite not having the money to do it. So you don't always need money to achieve your objectives. Of course, it is a very useful tool to achieve things, but sometimes you just need to hone your skills. And if there's any reality, I think skills are more important than actually wealth. I think having skills will bring you towards wealth. Like actually having intelligence is more valuable than wealth. So yeah, basically I want you guys to kind of think about how can you keep this positive trajectory in your lifestyle and push it into all channels of your being. How can you push it into your creative purpose? How can you push it into your business? How can you push it into your relationships? Okay, let's use like something like, you know, maybe you've got a mortgage, or maybe you're paying rent. It's like, okay, well, I'll be paying rent, so that means I can only afford that. I can't really afford to go out. Okay, that can be like a reality sometimes. It's like you're paying your rent, but you can't afford to go out. It's just like, well, what can I do to make use of this time of not going out? Well, maybe, you know what, maybe I'll go do some research online and some PDFs, and maybe I'll even, just for that little $30 that I'll have, I'll go invest in a course and learn a skill on like something like Udemy, where I can learn something like graphic design, or I don't know, like whatever, like any kind of little basic skill. Maybe it's like learn how to mix music. And what you're doing is you're basically trying to upskill yourself, so when it comes to your next project or your next opportunity or lead, you have a little extra feather in your cap. You know, so what I'm trying to say to you is keep that optimism, keep upskilling yourself, keep working on things that work for you. Don't work on things that aren't going to be beneficial to you. And remember, a man on semen retention has no choice but to become the universal multidisciplined man. So stay on that path, and yeah, that's basically it. I don't want to blabber on too much today. I'm going to leave you guys with it. I'll catch you on the next episode of Semen Retention, and yeah, peace out, brothers. Catch up.